For the last topic of this worksheet, we're going to talk about solving problems by adding. So a lot of times when you're dealing with word problems, which is what's coming, you'll see it called applications. You'll sometimes see it called problem solving. Okay, just means you've got some kind of a word problem. Your job is to pull the important information out of that and then perform the addition or subtraction or multiplication or whatever on those numbers and then give us a final answer. So in this case, we're just talking addition. So this table that we have right here, it lists some keywords and phrases that would indicate addition in a word problem because that's typically the hardest part. Doing the addition or the subtraction or whatever, that's not the hard part. It's understanding what the question wants you to do. And sometimes you just have to look for those keywords and know that, hey, these weird keywords mean add. Sometimes it's really obvious from the context of the problems, other times not so much. So I'm not going to read this table for you, but it would be worth reviewing this table. So look at the words and how they're used with numbers and then how that translates to math symbols. So some keywords and phrases, I will read those to you. Added to, plus, increased by, more than, total, sum, those all kind of indicate to us that we would need to perform some kind of operation, some kind of addition on those numbers, okay? And then you can see how that looks with numbers and then just numbers and symbols. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. We have two different examples here. So the first example, it just says solve each problem. I will tell you now that we're officially talking about word problems, you need to make sure you describe your answer. Okay, so we talked about that in a previous video where we had a table of values. Here, when you're dealing with a word problem where there's different components, you need to make sure that you tell the reader, hey, this number goes with this unit or this idea. Okay, so for part A, it says James teaches 4 classes this semester. The classes have 19 students, 21 students, 18 students, and 26 students respectively. So those 4 classes have that many students per class, okay? How many total, there's the word, how many total students does James teach this semester? So always be on the lookout for words that might indicate some kind of operation. So in this case, we do have the word total. How many total students does James teach this semester? So we want to take the number of students that James has among his 4 classes. So he has 19 students, he has 21 students, he has 18 students, and then he has 26 students. Let's find the total of those 4 numbers. That means take these 4 numbers and add them up, okay? So we have 19 plus 21 plus 18 plus 26. We're going to go column by column here. So let's see. 6 plus 8 is 14. Okay, 14 plus 1 is 15. And then 15 plus 9 is 24. So be careful when you add those 4 numbers. You could also do 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. 18 plus 6 is 24. Either way you slice it, when you add that column of numbers, you get 24. So we want to keep the 4, carry the 2. Okay, now 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. And then plus the 2 that we carried is 8. So total, we would say 84 students. So I would say something like James has a total of 84 students. Now, in a problem like this would be reasonable to use a calculator. I would not be opposed to using a calculator, but in order for you to use a calculator, you have to show me the setup, okay? That's the key to using the calculator. The calculator should be a tool that saves you a little bit of time. It shouldn't do all of the math for you. You still have to show me that you understand what you want this calculator to do and what you told the calculator to do. So as long as you show me this, you can then use the calculator to do the addition, okay? So let's look at part B. So Jane has $672 in her savings account. What will be the total? So again, there's a word that kind of indicates add. What would be the total in the account after Jane deposits her paycheck of $239? Okay. Well, we have 672 plus 239. If you wanted to use your calculator, that would be okay, but I have to at least see this. I have to know that you understand that you're adding these 2 numbers. The calculator can do the hard part if you want, but you have to show me your setup, okay? Now, this is just 2 numbers. Honestly, for me, in the time it takes me to pull out my calculator, type the numbers in there, and add, I could have done it by hand. These aren't huge numbers, so this one would be okay for me to do by hand, which I think is what I'm going to do here. So, adding column by column, I have 9 plus 2, which is 11. So I'm going to keep the 1, carry the 1. 7 plus 3 is 10, plus the 1 that I carried is 11 again. So I'm going to keep the 1 and carry a 1. And then 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 that we carried is 9. So I would say Jane has a total of, use a little dollar symbol, $911 in her account. Remember, you have to describe your final answers when it comes to math. Okay, at the very least, you need a unit. So in this case, dollars, in the previous case, students, but it's even better if you just use a couple of words to describe what that answer means. Okay, let's see. That is example 4. Let's look at example 5. Okay, so we have a table here. Okay, we've seen a table similar to this in a previous worksheet. So it says use the table to answer the following questions. The table shows the results for the top 10 countries in the 2016 Summer Olympics. Okay, fill in the total column for each country. Now, this is a ton of work right here. Okay, adding up, we've got the top 10 countries. Each country has 3 different groups of medals. We would have to add so many numbers. In a situation like this, it would be very reasonable to show, to use your calculator instead of showing all the individual work, is what I'm trying to say. So for this one, we need to make sure that we understand for the USA, I'll show you a couple of these and then we'll just go to the calculator for the rest. So for the USA, we need to know that the total number of medals is 46 gold, plus 37 silver, plus 38 bronze. Okay, we need to understand that's what we're doing, and then we can use the calculator to fill something like this in. So something like this, I would expect you to use a calculator just for the sake of time. So let's see, we have 46 plus 37 plus 38. That is 121 medals total. Okay, now for Great Britain, notice they have 27 gold, 23 silver, 17 bronze. So that is 27 plus 23 plus 7. They won a total of 57 medals. Okay, moving on to China. China had 26 plus 18 plus 26. So let's see, 26 plus 18 plus 26. They won a total of 70 medals. Okay, and then we're going to go dot, dot, dot. We'll do the rest just on the calculator without showing the work. So Russia would be next. Russia had 19 plus 18 plus 19 medals. So they won 56 medals total. Germany had 17 plus 10 plus 15. Whoops. 17 plus 10 plus 15. So Germany won a total of 42 medals. Japan won 41. You can do that one kind of in your head, but let's see. 12 plus 8 is 20 plus 21. They won 41 medals. France was 10 plus 18 plus 14, so 42 medals. If you don't have a calculator out and you're not doing this with me, pause the video, go get your calculator and make sure that you're checking these answers too. Let's see, South Korea had 9 plus 3 plus 9. We can see kind of easy, that's going to be 21, but if you need to use your calculator, go for it. Let's see, Italy is 28, so 8 plus 12 is 20, plus 8 more is 28. And then Australia has 8 plus 11 plus 10, which is 29. Okay, so again, there's a time and there's a place to use your calculator. I want to know that you know how to add by hand. There will be a time where I'm like, hey, add these numbers by hand without a calculator. In a situation like this where you're adding this many numbers, a calculator is completely reasonable. Okay. So part B says how many total medals were won by the top 10 performing countries. Well, we have the total for each individual country. What we want to do now is add this column right here. So we basically want to take 121 plus 57 plus 70 plus 56 plus 42. I've got a bug on my arm. Plus 41 plus 42 plus 21 plus 28 plus 29. That's what we're doing here. So again, a calculator would be completely reasonable. So let's see. I have my door open because it's really hot and like a mosquito or something's flying around me. Okay, let's see what we get. 121 plus 57 plus 70 plus 56 plus 42 plus 41 plus 42 again plus 21 plus 28 plus 29. I get 507 medals total. But let's add it one more time. Anytime you add a huge group of numbers, or even not a huge group, but 10 numbers like this, double check it, add it again. So let's see, I've got 121 plus 57 plus 70 plus 56 plus 42 plus 41 plus 42 again, plus 21, plus 28, plus 29, and I get 507. So again, when you're adding several numbers like this, double check yourself. So there were 507 total medals won by the top 10 countries in the 2016 Summer Olympics. Okay, so this is a really good example of when it is completely appropriate to use a calculator. Up here, these two problems, they weren't too bad. It would be totally normal for me to give you a question like this and say, hey, without using a calculator, answer these questions. Something like this down here, you could absolutely do this problem without a calculator, but the calculator is a nice time saver, okay? So again, part of what you need to understand is when it's appropriate to use a calculator, when it's appropriate to know how to do the work by hand. So there you have it. That is adding whole numbers.